There's a reason some people start planning their Thanksgiving menu in July, while others can barely remember to buy a turkey the day before. And it has nothing to do with loving cranberry sauce. What drives someone to obsess over a single Thursday in November reveals something profound about how they're wired to handle chaos, connection, and control in their everyday lives. Hit the subscribe button, like and share, and I will meet you at the end of the video. Ever notice how certain folks treat Thanksgiving like it's their personal Super Bowl? They're color-coding spreadsheets for side dishes, texting the family group chat about seating arrangements in October, and losing sleep over whether the turkey will be moist enough. Meanwhile, the rest of us are wondering if we even own a roasting pan. So what's actually happening in the brain of someone who's genuinely obsessed with this holiday? First, let's talk about the illusion of mastery. Life throws curveballs constantly. Your boss changes deadlines, your partner forgets important dates, your kids refuse to follow any schedule you create. But Thanksgiving is different. It's a controllable project with a clear deadline, measurable outcomes, and visible success. When you nail that perfect golden brown turkey or execute a flawless seating chart that keeps Uncle Jerry away from Aunt Michelle, your brain floods with dopamine. You've created order from potential chaos, and that feeling is intoxicating for people who crave predictability in an unpredictable world. But there's another layer beneath the surface, something psychologists call temporal landmarks. These are moments that feel like reset buttons in our mental timeline. Thanksgiving obsessors aren't just cooking a meal, they're constructing a memory anchor. They instinctively understand that years from now, people won't remember the random Tuesday in March, but they will remember the Thanksgiving when everything came together perfectly, or disastrously. Either way, it's cemented in collective memory. Now, here's where it gets interesting. People who go overboard with Thanksgiving often struggle with what researchers call role ambiguity during the rest of the year. Maybe their job doesn't give them clear feedback. Perhaps their relationships feel undefined or unstable. But when they're hosting Thanksgiving, their role is crystal clear. They are the architect of togetherness, the orchestrator of gratitude, the person everyone depends on for this one magical day. That clarity of purpose fills a psychological void that's gnawing at them the other 364 days. There's also the fascinating phenomenon of nostalgia engineering. Unlike people who passively experience nostalgia, Thanksgiving obsessors actively manufacture it. They're not just remembering warm childhood holidays, they're reverse engineering those feelings and attempting to recreate them with surgical precision. Every recipe becomes a time machine. Every tradition becomes a ritual of continuity. They're essentially fighting against the entropy of family dissolution, geographic separation, and the inevitable march of time, and cooking becomes their weapon of choice. But let's address the elephant in the room, or should I say the turkey on the table. Some of this obsession masks deeper anxiety about acceptance and worth. If the meal is perfect, maybe the family will finally recognize their value. If everything goes according to plan, maybe this year the conversations won't turn toxic. The holiday becomes a high-stakes performance where love and approval feel conditional on the fluffiness of the mashed potatoes. That's not just dedication, that's people-pleasing dressed up in an apron. And yet, there's something beautifully human about all of this, because underneath the obsessive planning and the 5 different potato dish options, there's a person who desperately wants to matter, who wants to create a moment where everyone they love is actually present, actually connected, actually grateful. In a world where we're increasingly isolated despite being constantly connected, the Thanksgiving obsessor is fighting a guerrilla war against loneliness using butter, herbs, and a perfectly timed oven. So the next time you encounter someone who's already brining their turkey in August, remember this: they're not crazy. They're trying to build a fortress against forgetting, against drifting apart, against the feeling that nothing they do really matters. They've just chosen carved meat and pumpkin pie as their medium. And honestly, in a world that often feels meaningless, maybe obsessing over one day where we're supposed to gather and give thanks isn't the worst coping mechanism out there. The question isn't why some people obsess over Thanksgiving. It's what void are the rest of us filling instead?